Alright, a very big welcome to you, my great audience. It is my pleasure to host you once again on The Truth with Ben Jokes, your number one political talk show. Coalition will be party to beat. APC should be worried, says Suswam. Suswam is a former PDP governor of Benue State, and he was talking about the possibility of unseating Tinubu in that interview. Now, I don't let mainstream media form political opinions for me. I take the pieces of information provided by media and I juxtapose them with my observation, knowledge, and experiences. That is how I form my own political opinions, and I am right 90% of the times. In this case of Tinubu, I have said many times, he cannot defeat anybody by popular votes, and he knows that more than anybody. That is why he is only concerned about politicians, governors, lawmakers defecting to the APC so that they can come together to rig the elections perfectly. He knows the people will mostly vote against him. If the political elites across Nigeria can stop him from rigging the elections, as some of them are already saying they would, Tinubu will be easily defeated even without a coalition. Now, let us look at the top stories. About a week ago, Tinubu was endorsed for 2027 without Shettima in Gombe State. Since then, the Gombe APC, who are Shettima supporters, and other northeast states have been speaking against that decision, and they are so angry with the APC. And few hours ago, a very strategic political move began in the northeast, starting from Gombe. The coalition has now gained entrance into Gombe State, vowing to unseat the APC. I see this as a plot by Shettima and Gombe APC to surrender the state to the coalition because they are no longer happy with the APC. And other northeast states will most likely follow. What a permutation. Concurrently, Peter Obi reacted to Ganduje's resignation with a big blow on Tinubu. Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video from ex-president Goodluck Jonathan. Every Nigerian should see this video. Let's watch.
I say it for young people who should know that this issue of tribe and religion, these are the major setbacks for this country. This makes people, it's create problems for leadership recruitment. If somebody is holding a political office and he wants to give appointments, you begin to see that even if Mrs. A knows the issue better than Mrs. B, and if Mrs. B is from his own tribe, we want to use Mrs. B. It's like saying, oh, you have a fight that you need a lion to fight, but that lion is not from your tribe. Then you say the cats. Then you say, after all, both of them are carnivorous animals. They have carnassial teeth. And you bring a cat to do the job of a lion. It's not possible. The cat, yes, is a carnivorous animal. Yes, it has carnassial teeth. But the cat cannot do the job of a lion or a tiger or a leopard. So, but that is what happens in a system where people tend towards their tribe. And that's one of the banes of Nigerian politics. The leadership recruitment process is skewed along tribal interests, along religious interests. So you see how difficult it is to get the best. If people are contesting election, even as a president of a country or as a governor in the various states, I wouldn't want to mention states. There are some states that if you come from some part of the state, you can never be the governor of the state, even if you are the best material at the time. In Nigeria, if you want to contest election, they first know, is it our turn? Is it their turn? If it is it the turn of the Muslims? Is it the turn of the Christians? So this creates problem to recruit the best material, because you are not assessing the person you want to recruit to the leadership position based on competence. You assess the person based on how he worships his God, or from the part of the map of the country the person comes from.
Something they can't even control.
So these are the issues. So for young people like you and those who will come after you, It's not something you can do overnight. It's difficult because the elders will continue to be pushing you back. But just like the young people came together and come up with the concept of not too young to run. Before that time, when we came in 1999, for you to contest deputy governor, governor, senator, vice president, president, you must be 40 years and above. The not too young to run now brought it to 35 years. For you to be that, and that's for the president. In fact, for the governor, they have even brought it to 30, not even 35. But for president, they make it 35. But at the age of 30 now, you can become the governor of your state. Ordinarily, we're supposed not to me, it's supposed not to put age barrier. Because if you remember when, Gowan, because you're a reader, so you should know Gowan. When Gowan became head of state, he was 33 years old. Then your governor, now King D.H.S. he was Commander A.P. D.H.S. then he was 28 years old. When he became the military governor of the old River State, present River State and Bayelsa State. And he did very well. I don't think we have gotten a governor that performed better than Spiff at the age of 28. So I don't believe in all these barriers. It should assess people based on their competence, not how many years you've been sleeping on earth.
You've heard that. That message was mostly for young Nigerians who are the future of this country. If we can keep tribe and religion aside on political matters for just 365 days, this country will change. If between December 2026 to December 2027, Nigerians are able to look beyond tribe and religion in all the political decisions they take, I'm telling you, even INEC will not be able to rig elections. Politicians are not as powerful as we think. They only ride on our sentiments to cheat us. If we keep these sentiments aside and unite, that little support that they ride on to rig elections will no longer be there. And just like they did in Abia State, each state will defend their votes. The person we voted for must be announced. And if they do that, I am telling you, we will triumph. But as long as we still have some young people putting tribe and religion ahead of logic and reasonable decisions, politicians will continue to have their way with the Nigerian people. Point blank, period. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that reaction by Peter Obi to the resignation of Ganduje. In that reaction, he hit Tinubu from left, right, and center. And next is that smart political move coming out of Northeast, starting from Gombe State, days after APC and Tinubu dropped Shetima as running mate. Coalition takes hold of Gombe in what appears to be a move by Shetima and Gombe APC to surrender the state to the coalition. Let's start by taking that update from Peter Obi. Look at how the papers reported it. Sick, old Nigerian leaders should resign like APC chairman Ganduje. Peter Obi. Mr. Obi, in a statement on Friday, said Mr. Ganduje's resignation on health grounds was a timely challenge to Mr. Tinubu and other political leaders who cannot deliver optimally due to health challenges. He stated, I must commend Dr. Ganduje for prioritizing his health above all else. With his health reportedly in decline, it is both wise and honorable to step aside, knowing that he may no longer be able to render the level of service required by the party, the people, and the nation. By this exemplary action, Dr. Ganduje has thrown a challenge to other leaders who, due to health-related issues, are no longer able to deliver optimally. I sincerely hope they take a cue from him. Wishing Mr. Ganduje a fulfilling retirement. The former Anambra State governor said that Nigeria, at its critical stage, needed a leader who is mentally and physically fit to lead. He stated, the challenges confronting our nation today require leaders who are not only competent, but also physically and mentally fit. Leaders with the capacity and agility to respond decisively and promptly to pressing issues. At this critical point and difficult time, we can no longer afford leadership defined by medical tourism, long holidays, or absenteeism. caused by age-related ailments. These things are taking a serious toll on our development. Wow, this one is hitting from left, right, and center. He said you have to be physically and mentally fit, meaning the man in Aso Rock is not mentally fit. He is not physically fit. He said absenteeism and medical tourism are the things that have characterized your presidency. Oh, this is such a shame. Buhari just left instead of the entire country to say, no, we cannot have this kind of leadership again. The judiciary and INEC still betrayed Nigeria and gave us a man that can barely stand on his feet. And you are wondering why the country is not standing? I keep wishing Nigeria a Peter Obi presidency so that many Nigerians will know what it means to lead. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to this, that video coming all the way from Gombe State, northeast Nigeria, began circulating. The coalition has invaded the state, and opposition parties in Gombe State have now formed a state coalition saying they must unseat the APC. We see this as a plot by Shettima and Gombe APC to surrender the state to the coalition. See the video.
A union with intent, a partnership with a purpose, a marriage of convenience. These are the phrases to describe the meeting of opposition political parties in the state as the early dawn of politics begins in Gombe State. Anchored on the same principles, the national body, the coalition intend to achieve one purpose: remove the sitting government through a collective force of will.
We stand firmly with this national effort. This is not about personality, it is about purpose. It is not about ambition, it is about redeeming our country, and therefore it is about redemption.
The coalition also call on members of the legislature on their calling while tinkering on defections.
We now ask you, our National Assembly members, we demand of you, our National Assembly members, to do not betray the trust of the people of Gombe State.
With all the members and leaders of the coalition making their presence known, they say it's a coalition in progress, as I believe that is forged will build the blocks of their union.
And all of us, we agree that we are going back to our political party and send the message to them, because the party, it is not about the individual. But I want to assure you, we are going to do everything humanly possible to see that we send APC out of.
When the coalition gives more light on what this union will be in the days ahead.
Things I just imagined. This is the beginning of a movement. As I said, it's not about personality. No one single individual's ambition is above the ambition of the state and the people of the state. It's about the state. It's about the people of the state, not about any individual. Our only aim, goals, and objective is to bring everybody together under one umbrella to make sure that we fight a common enemy.
One question that is in the mind of political observers is, will the coalition stand? The answer will indeed change the political landscape scenarios.
You saw that. Now, all of a sudden, all the opposition parties in Gombe State came together and began saying they must unseat the APC. They must take the APC away from government house. Such things don't happen without one or two big men sponsoring them. And in this case, we know who that big man is. About a week ago, in this same Gombe State, it was announced that Tinubu was endorsed for the 2027 presidential election, and Shettima was not announced. Two people came to the stage and dropped Shettima. And about a week later, this is happening in Gombe State. This is the craftiness of the Nigerian politics, and there's a way these northerners play their own. Shettima didn't go straight to Borno, Maiduguri to do this because it will become so obvious that he's the one doing it. That is why he went to another northeast state, which is Gombe, to start this movement. Now, coalition has gained entrance into Gombe State. And I also believe that this is not happening without the knowledge of Gombe APC, because it was Gombe APC members that beat up Ganduje when he announced Tinubu without Shetima. So the crisis in the APC in Gombe State is so heavy that they are now willing to surrender the state to the coalition. This is how it happens little by little. This was how it began in the case of the APC. We thought it was all a joke. Before we could say Jack, we looked everywhere and it was APC. If things keep going the way they are going, this is the same way the APC itself will drown before 2027. But as you know, I will always go back to the issue of being able to stop the APC from rigging, because everything we are talking about now is how to help the coalition or the other people that will contend against Tinubu to get the most votes. But if you look at 2023, Tinubu himself did not get the most votes. How come he is the one in Aso Rock? That is the question that we cannot stop asking. That same method that he used to get there is the same method that he's preparing to use to get there again in 2027. So the opposition must ask themselves, what have we done to prevent a reoccurrence of that 2023 scenario? And when they begin to ask that question, they will start to take the right decisions and get rid of the APC. But until then, make I still enter town, make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of now I dey here, so don't go away.